Hello and welcome to Your Healthier Lifestyle. Today, I'm really pleased to welcome Alie Goldstein, Transition and Leadership Coach. Alie's one-to-one coaching supports people to confidently make major life transitions or progress their professional development. She also offers online group coaching for parents raising third culture kids, cross-cultural, highly mobile kids, to re-envisage the challenges of the lifestyle that this might bring into opportunities. Alie, hello, my friend. So good to connect today.
Hello, Bert. It's such a pleasure to be here on Your Healthier Lifestyle, and thanks for having me.
Today, we're going to talk transition, and I feel particularly honored to say that I'm one of the many people that you have helped with a major life transition. Your one-to-one coaching directly supported me with what I would call an identity crisis at the time, to really reconnect with my values and my sense of purpose, and ultimately allowed me to confidently make the decision to change career and retrain to become an integrative nutrition health coach. Honestly, at that time, it really supported me and has been truly transformative for my healthier lifestyle. So, Alie, let's talk transition. Now, when I consider transition in terms of the coaching program that I offer, I support active females in midlife to make the transition of their habits around different aspects of their lifestyle, nutrition, relaxation, movement, sleep, to really support them towards their healthier lifestyle. And because of the holistic approach that I take, this often opens up many areas that they may not have considered before. And we do find that we'll often explore that. What's my sense of purpose? What is my career doing? I wondered if you have identified any strong transition themes from the women, particularly in midlife, that you have coached?
Absolutely. Well, Bert, first off, how courageous of you to really bring up your own transition story. I've coached many female clients who have decided to take a career break and raise their kids like you did, or who moved overseas for their spouse's job and really found maintaining a career quite difficult. Once their kids were back in school and they felt ready, they were ready to turn the focus back on themselves. Many moms, however, felt confused and lost, understandably, when thinking about next steps, not really wanting to return to that hectic career that they had before having kids, and also wanting to have a little more meaning in their lives, but not exactly sure how to do that. I've also partnered up with women who just weren't satisfied with their current career path, or who had been let go and who wanted to explore other options, but they were scared. According to In First Sight research from 2019, 73% of women, curious enough, want to change careers. Transition. Yeah, and transitions, those times when we feel we need or we want to give up either on a particular job, career, dream, idea, or even relationship in order to move on to something new, it can be really scary.
Oh my goodness, yes, I can completely relate. You know, it's exactly where I was 4 years ago. I'd been living here in the US for 2 years, but in total, I had been on a career break for 4 years. And it was a career break that was due to end in 6 months. And I was panicking, what decision did I need to make? I wasn't sure, my sense of identity, and really having your support at that time really helped me work through this. And ultimately I was able to be confident to retrain and know that it was the right choice for me.
Bert, it was such a pleasure partnering with you along that part of your journey. And speaking for myself, I've transitioned careers and countries more than a half a dozen times. And while it was exciting, it was also quite nerve-wracking. And being confronted with change or with transition, it often leaves us feeling stuck, confused, and at times even frustrated. And that can make it difficult to see the positive opportunities that may lie ahead. And this makes complete sense because change forces us to let go of the familiar, whether it's giving up, in your case, giving up one area that you felt like you identified with, a part of yourself, one identity, and it can leave us feeling vulnerable. Transitions also give us the chance to learn about our strengths, to explore what we really want out of life, and to flourish. And Bert, I think you would probably agree that you successfully turned what some might consider a midlife crisis into an amazing opportunity for yourself.
No, honestly, it really was. I really see that time as a gift now more than anything.
Yeah.
Do you feel like 2020 in particular has resulted in an increase in the number of people reevaluating their sense of purpose?
Absolutely, I do. 2020 has definitely been a year of major transition for many. In my lifetime, I'm not sure we ever really had quite a pause button like we did like this. And it's forced many of us to slow down, at least in the beginning, connecting more with family, with loved ones, in creative ways, taking stock of life and really reevaluating that sense of purpose and how we connect with others, even how we contribute to the world at large. I'd like to share 3 tips for those craving a deeper sense of purpose, if that's all right with you.
No, that would be awesome. Yes.
Okay, oh, great. Because transitions are long-term and require self-reflection, my first tip would be, and similar to what you did, is really take time to process the transition. I mean, all too often in life, we are so quick to shift to the positive or the do mode. Sometimes it can be more advantageous to just be, to sit with that loss of identity or how we even defined ourselves. And it could be that loss of a dream and really just allow ourselves to grieve. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Brene Brown. She has a fantastic 3-minute animated short on empathy. And it's also quite humorous. And I like to think about, empathy as really turning it onto ourselves, really being self-compassionate, and allowing ourselves the space and the grace to really grieve if needed before shifting into the do mode where we find the gift and opportunity. My second tip would be something that you know a lot about, Bert, and that is really getting clear on your values. Values are those principles that you live by. The things that make you tick. And unlike goals, you can't quite check off a value. And everybody's top values are the same. Yours are different than mine.
No, for sure. I mean, that was a really core piece that you introduced me to. And it wasn't something that I had thought about much prior to the coaching with you. And now it's actually integral to the, what I explore with the people that I now coach. So yeah, fantastic. Definitely recommend it for anyone.
Oh, great. And you're not alone with it being sort of a foreign concept.
Yeah.
I think most of us are familiar with company values and mission statements, but seldom do we apply these frameworks to our own personal lives. Values are things like family, achievement, adventure, justice, learning, etc. And really by taking the time to know what you value most, what makes you tick, it can help you explore your sense of purpose in a way that can really bring you deep satisfaction. Why not let your values guide you as you think of that long-term career step, or as you figure out your life goals? Allow yourself to explore those other versions of yourself that you'd like to live into. And I would say my last tip is what I like to call knowing your superpowers. Identify your strengths, skills, and talents, and really think about your experience and how these your superpowers can be transferable into other areas or industries or even careers. Then you can start crafting your own narrative, your signature story, which basically is just connecting your set of events to shape how others see you, leading to that new version of yourself. And if I can mention that Jennifer Aker, who is the author of The Dragonfly Effect, she has a great video that I love on Lean In, and it's called Harnessing the Power of Stories. And I highly recommend it. And it's a great way to really work on that signature story for yourself, particularly as you're transitioning. And then once you know where you want to go, then you can create a plan that's going to get you towards your destination.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much for those tools. So we've got a sitting with the loss, identifying your values and finding your superpowers. And you mentioned some great resources there that I will link in the show notes. Now, have you found that 2020 focuses us to transition to different ways of working as well? I mean, I think I already know the answer to that is yes, but I know a lot of people have struggled with this. And what tools might you recommend that could support them?
Yeah, really great point, Bert. In 2020, it brought about changes to the way we live, our work environments, our habits, and even how we connect with one another. Now we're all doing Zoom calls. Also how we travel, how our kids are educated. I mean, you name it. I did want to mention that I wrote an article a little while back called 3 Tools Every Working Parent Needs. And in it, it had tips on how to better manage stress levels when working from home. Many parents this year have been forced to change the way that they work, juggling more responsibilities than ever, and often having to balance working from the home space while their kids are, on the other side of that wall doing online schooling. So you talk about a huge transition. So I would say, at least in the article, I talk about 3 tips. I call it the scissors, the dimmer switch, and my favorite, the emergency button. And today, if it's okay, I want to just share with you the scissors tool. Is that all right?
Yeah, brilliant. Love that.
So the reality is that when you're undergoing a transition, you just can't do things the way that you did it before. And each time you're thrown a curveball, whether your kids are back to online schooling from home, or you're rotating back into the office after having been working from home, off and on every week, or even loss of electricity or water, as some of you I know experienced a couple of weeks ago in Texas. And I know we also experienced that, ironically, in Athens, Greece, where I live last week. It can take time before you get yourself up and running effectively and efficiently. So my suggestion is really, why not give yourself permission to show up in a different way, whether it be as an employee or as a parent, as a spouse, or even as a friend. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed when the next curveball comes, then, as I say, look no farther than your scissors.
Very good.
And the way it works to use them effectively, first, you're going to need to make a list of all of the expectations of yourself and all of your roles. Then write them down on a piece of paper in order of importance. And then get out those scissors and start cutting. Let certain tasks fall away until your level of stress returns back to a manageable level. Then you can go, back and take action. You can pick them up again once the curveballs stop coming. And I like to sort of what I do with those extra tasks that I cut off. I like to put them on what I call the parking spot. I like to think of it as where I park my car. It's just an area. I know they're there. And whenever I have time, I can go back and get them. But for now, they're outside and I'm not thinking of them.
I love that. I love the connection and the visual. For those listening who can relate to being a globally mobile family unit, some may also be able to relate to 2020 causing another move. I can, because as you already know, my family and I will return to the UK later this year. It's been wonderfully supportive for me to have done your Global Parenting Foundation training for parents of third culture kids. For those who are not familiar with this term, can you explain what TCKs are, please?
Absolutely. And Bert, really, what a year of change for you and your family. So with respect to the question TCK, it stands for third culture kid. As you had said, it's cross-culturally highly mobile kids. And the way I like to frame it is that if somebody were to ask your kid, where are you from? And the answer is a little complicated. Something along the lines of, well, my mom's from A, dad's from B, I was born in C, and now we live in D, then you're raising a third culture kid.
This will be our first move as a family, that our kids are actually old enough to be part of the conversation. And I really felt that I wanted to help prepare them for this transition. So the global parenting program really preempted some of those challenges that I hadn't thought of. You and your coaching partner, Cornelia, you really did a great job in pulling together the structure of the program and the multiple foundational tools that you introduced for TCKs. It's one thing to maybe read a book on this subject, but then to actually do the work, it can be challenging, and some people may not really put the thought into it. But actually having that structure of a program and then the guidance of both of you as very experienced coaches was hugely supportive. So it really takes that point of, making good intentions become actionable items.
I'm so glad that you got a lot out of our foundation global parenting program, Bert. And really the aim that Connie and I had for our virtual programs were to help parents who are raising kids overseas get clear on the long-term effects and pitfalls and benefits of living a globally mobile lifestyle. We provided tools to parents to navigate that journey with greater awareness. And I'm curious, Bert, now that you've been through our virtual foundation program, what part really stood out for you, or what did you find most helpful?
Well, I guess, you know me, I love to connect, right? So the fact that this was group training, I find it fantastic connecting with other parents, also living a sort of transient lifestyle was great. And this was really enhanced by the virtual breakout rooms that you're able to harness through Zoom. And then the requirement for the pod conversation follow-ups with smaller groups outside of the actual structured training time. So that really adds an extra dimension to the learning experience. Again, I've mentioned you've shared multiple tools. Some I was slightly familiar with, others were brand new to me. And the structure and flow of this was really good. Probably, though, the most thought-provoking part of the course for me was this question about where is home? The longer I've been away from home, and I moved, when I was 18, I felt this, stronger need to feel rooted back to my childhood home, which is, Northern Ireland. And then becoming a parent, I thought, well, where's home for my kids? They're born in one place, but they grow up and become more aware in another place. How will they handle that conversation with others as they grow? And so doing the training has helped me feel more equipped as a parent to help them navigate that conversation, and still feel like that, they know how to answer that and feel comfortable and confident with their response.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. And one thing that I don't know if you remember from when you did the program was how easy it is to push our worries or our insecurities onto our kids. So just because for us, and I'm with you, that where's home question sometimes can be difficult to tackle. Just because it's a challenge for me doesn't mean it's going to be a challenge for my kid. They'll have different challenges. So great point there. Yeah,
no, for sure. Now, if anyone listening wants to learn more about your one-to-one coaching or your upcoming global parenting group coaching, how can they connect with you?
Sure. So you can find out more information on coaching with me, as well as our upcoming global parenting programs on my website, which is www.alison, ALISON, Goldstein, GOLDSTEIN.com. And if you're curious, to get a taste of really what it's like working with a transition coach, to see if it's right for you, I'd be happy to offer all listeners today a complimentary session. Just go to my website and email me putting your healthier lifestyle in the title so that I can set that up for you.
Oh, that's a fantastic offer. Thank you, Alie. Now, before you go, I believe health is a journey, not a destination, and we're all on our own personal journey towards healthier. So with this in mind, I would love you to share something you're doing towards your healthier lifestyle.
Okay, well, I think that it probably would be, in general, just my view of goals. When I think of a goal, I really, think about it in terms of running a marathon. Back in 2007, Bert, I know you know this story. I decided to make it a goal of mine to run the Athens Authentic Marathon. And while I had done a couple of marathons in my 20s, at that point I was in my 40s, I had a couple of young kids, and my pace was really super slow. But I had this dream, and I wanted to be supermom. And in my mind, supermom ran marathons. And so I promised myself that if I had done a 75-minute long run, then I would register for it. But I just couldn't hammer it out. And I created my own roadblock by making a long run mandatory before I was willing to register. And I never ended up doing that long run. And I did end up registering for the marathon. So rather than focusing on the end goal, that 42 kilometers or 26 miles, I concentrated on just getting past the starting line. First step, easy, you just sign up. Every time I come up with a new goal in general, I create an action that I can take that day. An action that's simple, that's bite-sized, something that's going to get me across the starting line and into the race, focusing only on a couple steps ahead. What do I need to do? And in the case of the Athens Marathon, that's what I did. And I really let the inspiration of the supermom image and the training, of course, really carry me towards that goal. And if it's okay, Bert, I'd like to share my supermom picture. If you can put that up, or maybe I can put that up for today's viewers. And while I did run the entire marathon in my supermom outfit, and thank you, Roberta, from the bottom of my heart, for sending me this amazing outfit all the way from Houston. I clearly did not look anything like this picture by the end of the race. And if it's okay with you, shall I share it here?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's share screens. Good.
So there it is.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. Oh, you look great. I know you had so much fun that day. Thank you so much for sharing that. Goals are so important, and, you know, making sure that we don't put those roadblocks in the way, that we just don't get started. Alie, it has been such a pleasure connecting with you today. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Bert, for having me on Your Healthier Lifestyle. Thank you.